All right, coming in at number 31 on our NHL draft rankings for 2025, it was the youngest player in the NCAA this past season. And not only did Sascha Boumedienne play NCAA, he was playing on the top pair for Boston University for most of the season.
Yeah, this is another interesting prospect. Sascha Boumedienne is a guy that is really pushing himself here. He was the youngest player in the NCAA. He already has a year of USHL experience under his belt. He had to make a tough decision. Hey, things are going well for me here in Youngstown. We've already covered one prospect from the Youngstown Phantoms. He had 27 points in 49 games, pretty good for a defenseman, +9, even got some playoff games. But he decided, you know what? I want to push myself. I want to play NCAA. And with Boston University in 40 games, he had 3 goals, 10 assists, 13 points, finished a +8. I should mention he's a left shot defenseman, 6'2", 183 pounds. And he's got a dad that had a decent hockey career, Joseph Boumedienne. He even played for the Binghamton Senators back in 02-03. Had a cup of coffee. No, I should say more than a cup of coffee. He had a couple cups of coffee in the NHL, but then went to Europe to continue his career. And that's why Sascha is actually born in Finland. His dad was playing in Karpat when that was happening, but he identifies as a Swede, even though he was born in Finland and grew up developing and playing hockey in Ohio, but he plays for Team Sweden. So this is a very interesting prospect.
And everybody is agreeing on the fact that he got better as the season went on. He's a January 2007 birthday, one of the older players in the draft. Corey Prodman, the highest on him of our scouts at 21st overall. Bob McKenzie at 24. Craig Button at 28. Scott Wheeler at 33. Elite prospects at 37. McKean's at 42. That's an average of 30.83. You mentioned his stats at Boston University. How about the fact that he led all defensemen in scoring at the World Under-18s, where Sweden got a silver medal? He was playing 26 minutes a night. He was excellent offensively. He started that tournament off with a boom. Hey, boom at the end. Nice. And he had 6 points in the first game in a 10-3 win over Switzerland. And he continued that minute munching quality throughout. In the semifinals, a 4-3 win over the United States, he played 26-37, which was the most he played in a single game. And then in the finals, they lost 7-0 to Canada, but he still played 26 and a half minutes and was dashed 2 with 3 shots on goal. I just see him as a riser on draft boards across the NHL. We have him at 31. I would say easily goes mid-20s would be my thought for Sascha Boumedienne. Now, for the Senators, I don't think it makes sense to draft another left shot defenseman, and one that I think in the perfect world is more of a complementary defenseman as well. I don't think he's going to be the guy on your first power play unit, but he could end up being an efficient puck-moving defenseman who can play with a solid player, like he did this past year, where he was paired with another Swede, Tom Willander, who just signed his entry-level contract with the Vancouver Canucks. He was drafted 11th overall in 2023. So he was able to kind of learn the habits from a countryman and a guy who has been there and done that. So I think that was great for his development. And the fact he got better as the season went on, to me, is the biggest selling feature and why I believe he's going to be a mid-20s pick in this draft.
Yeah, just with the lack of defensemen in this draft, I think it's pretty safe to say he will be a first rounder, and he deserves that. He's a great skater. That's his number one attribute, in my opinion, great skater. He's got a really good shot. He can absolutely load up a wrister from the point and feather it through and thread the needle and beat goalies clean, or get it through traffic, sticks, skates, all those kinds of things. I think it's interesting, Ross, that he made the decision to go to college. That really shows you, okay, he's not complacent. Like, he had a good USHL season. I think everybody would have expected and understood and assumed he would just stick in the USHL. That would have been a perfectly fine development path, especially a nice team like the Phantoms. But he wanted to elevate his game, and he's got a lot of respect from teammates, coaching staff, about how he was able to figure out the college game as the year went on. He's excellent in transitioning the puck up the ice. Being a good skater helps. And he's also got a really good defensive stick, getting in lanes, poking loose pucks, that kind of thing. And he was even on the penalty kill near the end of the season. So they showed that they trusted him a lot more as time went on.
Yes, and it was 14 points in 7 games at the World Under-18s. Just a little mix-up there with a +5 and only 1 minor penalty. So interesting that against his own age group, he had more points in 7 games internationally than he did in the entire 40-game college season. So heck of a prospect. What's your Sens stars for Sascha Boumedienne?
I gave him 3.5 stars, Ross. He would be a 4-star player based on his skill and his potential, but like we mentioned, the Sens don't need a two-way left shot defenseman, and I do believe that he's going to be right in the Sens range, but I don't think he's the guy that they should be taking. But a team that does take him can look and be like, man, he's already steps ahead of probably most defenseman prospects in this range and in this draft. So we've got a long way to go with him, but he's already ahead of most guys here.
Yes, I think a more safe pick than others around this range to be a National Hockey League defenseman. Sascha Boumedienne comes in at number 31 on our Locked On Senators NHL draft rankings. You can find all 50 of our profiles available on YouTube.